All right, welcome to Lights Camera Barstool the week of June 16th. Today we are reviewing two movies, both of which I think are getting some pretty solid reception across the board in very different genres. Materialists and Bring Her Back. And we'll also be doing in honor of Materialists a best rom-com since 2000 draft,
hmm
which is a pretty difficult one because it's a
Honestly, I thought it would be worse when you brought up this prompt last night, and I was like, oh boy, that's gonna be slim pickings. Uh, but it's better than it's like a million times better than it would have been if it was since 2010.
that
The
was my thoughts
2000s,
exactly. Like 2000 to 2000 like 7-ish, you get a really good chunk of them, but then after that
yep,
it's real slim.
yeah.
Real.
I mean, rom-coms died alongside comedies.
Yeah.
Like, you can very clearly see it. Like 2011, they just quit making them.
Yeah. I don't know if they just weren't making as much money because like it is crazy. Rom-coms used to make like a fuck ton. Like
Oh yeah.
there's something about Mary, I think it was like the fifth highest grossing movie the year it came out or something like that. Like that would never happen now.
Oh yeah.
There's no chance. It would never happen. Like it was like right behind like Saving Private Ryan, like at the like
Yeah.
fucking ballistic. Just not something that would happen now. But yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. First up, we have some news to get to. We had a new trailer for the Naked Gun reboot, starring Liam Neeson, Pam Anderson, Paul Walter Hauser, written by Kiva Schaffer, Dan Greger, and Doug Menn. The latter two did Chippendale, which was very good. We were all, I think, all pleasantly surprised with
Yeah.
Chippendale as a reboot. Um, the first teaser they gave was funny. Like they had a couple little bits and bit. The best one everyone obviously was talking about was the O.J. Simpson one. They did that again in this one. This teaser or this trailer is like a little hit and miss. Like some of it's like very old school,
hmm
sort of Naked Gun comedy, like the Don't Call Me Shirley sort of play on words things. Some of it didn't work. I think, and we mentioned this a little bit. I think in The Office actually. I think a big problem for this movie is I kind of really wish it was shot on film. Like, there's just something about digital that isn't as funny as film for something like this. Like, if this was shot, I think if it was shot on film, I would be like, it would be so much more like, I don't know how to explain it, like respectful to that sort of reboot. And I just feel
hmm
like the digital format isn't doing it as much for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've been agreeing on this for a while now about we need to get comedies back on film. But outside of that, yeah, no, this trailer still very much works for me. I love seeing more Pam Anderson. She looks like she's back in the limelight in a good movie. Trying to think of what else really stuck out to me.
Oh,
Keeping the Norberg,
they did the thermal imaging Austin Powers
yeah,
bit, which is funny.
that's the ultimate. Like, oh, we're back.
Yeah.
I think we're doing phallic humor. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Yeah, no, I'm all aboard. Liam Neeson just feels like it's like a weird like how the hell did this work out perfectly kind of thing where obviously his name is so similar to Leslie Nielsen and then his career now trajectory going from being like an all-time dramatic actor to now doing the most slapstick comedy you could possibly do is just such a great pairing. And I love Akiva Schaffer. Like someone posted the like Lonely Island movies. Like I think there's like six of them now where they've been involved, directed or written, and they all hit. Like they really have not missed yet. So fully faithful, or I'm faithful that this will end up being good. Also, like big set pieces, like even just the thermal imaging thing, like that needs to come back to comedies. Like looked like a fun time.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I'm like I would say a little hesitant. However, the big plus, yeah, I would say Liam Neeson is very funny. Specifically in, I always bring this up. Life's Too Short, the Clipper. He's talking about doing improv comedy with Ricky Gervais,
Yeah, oh
Steve
yeah.
Merchant. It's so damn funny. It crushes me. So just as a note to be like, he is actually a pretty funny guy. And obviously he's been another. He did like Seth MacFarlane. I think is the other guy who really realized that, and he put him
Mhm.
in like A Million Ways to Die in the West and a bunch of other things where he's got it. He's got this perfect deadpan delivery. Kind of, I wouldn't say at the same level, obviously, as Leslie Nielsen or anywhere
No.
close to that, but he has it very well. And I think that like the fact that he's so well known as being this hard ass action actor really helps that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of late stage reboot, revival, whatever, we had a little teaser for Spaceballs 2. Spaceballs 2
Yeah.
officially in the work after fucking like 40 years basically of
Yeah.
waiting time. Mel Brooks will be returning as an actor, and Rick Moranis in his first live action film role since 1998, which is crazy. He has a long hiatus, which but again,
Hmm.
he had like about as good a reason as any. Like his wife had passed away from cancer, and he wanted to focus time on
Hmm.
like spending time with his kids and helping raise them. So or just raising them, I guess. So obviously take that time. But we were talking about it at the office too. Like Rick Moranis, he nobody there was very few people in the 90s that were like really hitting like their peak as like that's that character, you know what I mean, like
Hmm.
him, like he was becoming like the movie dad. He didn't
Yeah.
like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like fucking Little Giants, like all these other like even in like smaller like Ghostbusters and shit, like he was really hitting the peak. And then all that happened obviously, and it went back down. Lewis Pullman also apparently might return to star alongside his dad, which would be incredible. I love Spaceballs. As far as like gold standard parody movies, it's there. It everything holds up, I think, pretty well too, which is very like when you watch some of the parody movies from like that we grew up watching, from our era, they don't. Like you watch Meet
Hmm.
the Spartans or Epic Movie or whatever, they're just not, they don't
No.
have like longevity to them at all. They're like their expiration date is so thin, but the humor is so much more thought out in movies like Spaceballs, and obviously all the Mel Brooks stuff that like they hold up well. They're funny, and I think him getting back, Mel Brooks getting back and just getting to do this again is cool. He's, I believe, writing it alongside a committee, and the director, I believe, is the one of the showrunners for the History of the World Part Two that they did on Hulu, which was not great. But that
I
was
didn't
also,
know that.
here's the thing. When you go and look at that series and you look at the amount of people involved in it, it is insane. Like it
Mm.
was like, too many cooks in the kitchen, whatever. Like any given episode was written by like 17 people, which like you kind of, I feel like, can sense that a little bit. But Spaceballs 2, love it. Love the first one. Very down for anything Mel Brooks wants to do with and he should get, I think, the green light for anything. He's like an icon in comedy.
Hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just shocked he's still working. Him and Clint Eastwood are just having a like standoff to see who dies first. Yeah, no, Rick Moranis being back is just phenomenal news because he had been signed on to do a Honey I Shrunk the Kids reboot, and
Yeah.
I was like, what happened to that? And I checked, COVID killed it, which sucks. But getting him back is just so great. Like you said, he is one of the ultimate movie dads in the sense that like he's not like, a lot of movie dads, they're like idealistic. Like I wish my dad was like a jacked cool guy swinging from like tree to tree with a rifle on his back. Like that'd be awesome if he was cool like that. But no, my dad's a nerd, like a nerdy little guy, and Rick Moranis fills that role so well. Um, in the Spaceballs teaser itself, like the teaser itself was so great. The
So funny.
scroll with the, just calling out all the franchises, which by the way, they cleverly don't mention the Spaceballs animated series,
Yeah.
which I didn't know existed, but I looked it up. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Shocked no one's ever done that before. Like call out, like do a full list of all the franchises, because when you see it written out, it's like holy shit, holy shit. They were leaving out Fast and Furious movies. They were leaving out like Mission Impossible. Like they could have done a lot more. But yeah, no, I'm pumped for this because the other thing about Spaceballs is as much of a parody as it was about Star Wars, it was also like a pretty light critique, but definitely a critique of like the movie industry at that point in like the 80s, like blockbuster craze and merchandising.
Hmm. The
So
Schwartz.
I think that's just as relevant, if not more, now. So I'm excited to see how they take that. And Josh Gad's heavily involved. Did I see that? He was
Yeah,
the one who posted the trailer.
he was also heavily involved in the obviously the History of the World Part Two
Huh.
reboot.
I wonder what
Um,
their relationship is. Like, how did that happen?
Great question. But yeah, dude, he's 98. Like this,
Holy
he's
shit. That's
98. He served in World War II. Like he was in France in fucking World War II, and he's still directing movies. That's crazy.
that is
Uh,
insane.
Shout out to him again, comedy icon. You want to like the entire, I would say the 70s into 80s belong to Mel Brooks, in my opinion. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's Spaceballs 2. We're very excited for that. James Gunn says there is a Wonder Woman movie in the works. No clue who ends up being Wonder Woman, though. There was no formal commitment on who it would be. There's obviously a lot of people, I think, going back and forth on who they would want it to be in it. I think we're probably on the same page,
Yeah.
who we want, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone has come to a consensus right now. It's one of those fan casts where it's like right time, right place, right look. Like she's at the right star level. Everything is kind of falling into place. She's friends with him. And we're talking about Adria Arjona, who you
Yeah,
might know as Bix from Andor, the Star Wars
Hitman.
series, Hitman, which is where she really, I think, took everybody's breath away. She was also in that Zoe Kravitz horror last year, Pussy Island.
Yeah.
What was the real name?
Fuck. What was it called?
Blink, Blink,
Don't blink or blink twice. Blink twice.
Blink twice. I said it. I said it
Yeah,
twice.
you did.
But yeah, no, she's just like on paper, everything is really lining up for her. And yeah, no, I would love to see it. James Gunn just has to get that deal done. Like he is friends with her, and it, like I said, it's just like she has the look. It's she's not too big of a star yet, where it would be, everyone just sees the actor instead of the character. Like she's perfect. Who else would you want there?
They said what's her name from Moon Knight? Uh,
May Calamaway,
yes, Kalamaui or
Calamawy,
Kalamaui,
the
Kalamaui.
Egyptian, and she's an Egyptian actress, right?
I think so. She might
That's
even
an
be.
interesting twist.
Let me double check that. She's from Bahrain. Okay. From Palestinian, Jordanian, whatever, doesn't matter.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, like she would be cool. I do think though, right now, as far as like star power compared to fit for the look of Wonder Woman and all those things, like she is. Both of these would be great, but like I think Arjonia is right at the top for me. Like
Yeah.
she's got it. I mean, she could obviously bulk up and play the role like more physically if she wanted to. I was watching a clip, and I'm sure you saw it too, of like a Wonder Woman suplex compilation. It was very funny.
Wait, what?
Oh, it was sick. It was like a compilation of every Wonder Woman suplex from like the animated series.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was
I
fucking
have to,
awesome. But yeah, I think that could be a good way to restart it. Just fresh slate, good actress, which would be a huge plus.
yes.
And I think you could
She
just
can
move on.
act. She can read a line, which
And
it's
read a
only
line.
up from like where they've been. So,
Yeah,
I mean, as much as I did like Gal Gadot in the first go around, uh I think her second and third, she continually got like just exponentially worse in the role
yeah.
as it went along. And yeah, no. Also, Adria is just obscenely hot. So,
It does
like
help a lot.
even
Although
if the
I would
movie
assume
ends up stinking, like it's one of those things where people still like the Catwoman, Halle Berry Catwoman movie. Like that movie has shooters just because Halle Berry's so gorgeous.
and to be clear, it is dog shit, but it does definitely have the shooters. Even fucking Michelle Pfeiffer had him. Like
Yeah.
they all had him. Will Smith denied starring in Inception apparently because he didn't understand the script. He also allegedly like offered the role of Dom Cobb, which by the way, what a funny, stupid name that was for a main character. Like we really, the movie's so good it doesn't matter, and the characters really don't matter like name wise at all. But like Dom Cobb, what a dumb name that is for like a
Stupid.
protagonist of a major movie. It's ridiculous.
I wonder if it's
Uh,
a reference.
it must be like you put it backwards and then play it forwards on a fucking record player and it says time flex or some shit. But yeah, he allegedly turned down the role of Dom Cobb because he didn't understand the script. And I think it's fun. It's obviously super funny because he also turned down the role of Neo because he didn't understand the script. The
Yeah.
Wachowskis came and like pitched him the entire idea, like, hey, look, this is what we're gonna do the effects, blah 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 blah. And he's like, I just don't get it. And instead, he went and did Wild Wild West, which was a steaming pile of crap. And from what I could tell in Will Smith's filmography, he didn't actually do anything else in the time that Inception was filming other than produce The Karate Kid, which was also bad. So he turned down two of the best sci-fi roles you could have in iconic sci-fi movies in favor of doing nothing to bad things. And also, it's not like he's turned down other bad script. He did Orc Cop. He did Orc Cop. He did
Oh,
After
great.
Earth. He did fucking like even like I have affection for iRobot, but like what is so like incomprehensible about something like The Inception that is so comprehensible for that? So I just don't totally get Will Smith. I think his career is fascinating in
Yeah.
general. It's
He,
like
I think he's like legitimately does not get enough credit for being like one of the 5 to 10 biggest movie stars of my lifetime, for sure. Like he is just so charismatic. I mean, like he is a generational actor is the thing. Like he's
Hmm.
so good when he has a good script. He's so fucking good. But like you said, he just picks obscene, just terrible movies sometimes. Like, I mean, since the year 2000, really, he's just ah.
He is like the weirdest like peaks and valleys, I think, of anybody in any major movie star in Hollywood. Like when you really think about it, like he'll go from like the full on peaks. He'll be doing Pursuit of Happiness. Everyone loves him. He's the greatest thing on fucking earth. He goes and makes the most disliked YouTube video ever made in history. He goes and slaps someone on the in the middle of the Oscars in front of all of his peers.
And then wins his best
Wins Best
actor
Picture that same night, like 20
15
minutes
minutes later.
later. It's crazy. He's the most peaks and valleys of anyone I've ever seen. And like, and I feel like it's just bizarre. Like his career and obviously his
Uh,
personal life stuff too. But like, it is just really weird, man. It is
yeah,
the
I
bizarre
think the
life.
personal life stuff is very tied into kind of all of this too.
Yeah. You know what's kind
I
of
think it's
funny?
very clear he has a very hectic home life.
Yeah. I've been following this guy on TikTok. He's this guy in China. His name is Tim Wu. And every day he just posts a clip of him being like, "Hey, Will Smith, here's my tractor. Show me what you got at your house." And he posted every single day forever. And I was about to go ask people we know that know Will Smith to be like, "Hey, he's eventually going to see this. Maybe we can be the first ones
Mhm.
to show it to him." And like apparently Will Smith had just responded to it. Like he had already his social team was on top of it. Uh Shout out
See,
Tim Wu.
that's the other thing. Like he's like one of the only guys from his generation who fully embraced like social media and
Yes.
has always fully embraced like social media. And I mean, now AI, he's very much in on it.
Yeah,
Also trying to revive, I don't know if you've seen, he's reviving his music career.
sort of.
Str Strange. Uh, I can't believe it. Turning down Inception, back to the main point, to do the Karate Kid. It's just so you're trying to get your prolifically annoying son's career off the ground.
Yeah.
Which uh,
Ironically, I think the funniest thing Jaden Smith did wasn't even him. It was when the
that's
Impractical
the key.
Jokers fucking tattooed
Oh
his face to one of the other guy's ass. Do you remember that?
no, I thought you were going to bring up the Key and Peele skit.
No, that was okay. Correction. Both those things very good. But the Impractical Jokers, one of the punishments was they all like the two losers, they had a mystery thing tattooed to them, like they couldn't see what they tattooed. And I believe Sal, they tattooed like a very in-depth portrait of a then like 13-year-old Jaden Smith to Sal's leg. And he's like, "Why the fuck did you tattoo in my leg?" It's just funny. He's like, "What does he got to do with me? What the fuck does that Jaden? We've never talked about Jaden Smith. Why you tattoo him to my leg?" Very
Just a
funny.
child.
Yeah, literally tattooing a famous teenager to his leg. Yeah, that's Will Smith. I just a quick little hitter, which I thought was funny. Kojima added the Philippou brothers, who we'll be talking about soon, to Death Stranding too. Just fun. I love how he collects like Hollywood figures like people collect Funko Pops or something. Like he's like, oh, Margaret Qualley, I like her. I'm throwing her in my game. Conan O'Brien, I like him. I'm throwing him in my game. Fucking Mads Mikkelsen, he's mine now. Norman Reedus, you're mine. Like he just collects people. It's so
Yes.
funny.
And I don't like they clearly all really love him, but like I don't know what they're doing when they hang out. Like what are they doing outside of like doing the I don't know what it's called when they put on those like,
The
suits and
mocap.
get the mocap, yeah. And outside of the mocap and then his one selfie that he always gets with the person he's hanging out with.
Yeah.
Outside of that, what is he doing with these people?
I will say, shout out to Kojima. He's a true beater of cinema. He is constantly at the movies.
Oh
Like,
yeah, and he's on the forefront of like finding he was on Margaret Qualley's trail 10 years ago.
dude, forever ago. He got there before like Quentin Tarantino. He was like on everybody.
He
He
knew
is
about Elle Fanning before Dakota Fanning knew about Elle Fanning.
dude, he had like Leah Sadu in his movie in his game. He had like in a starring role. Like it's crazy. Kojima just he just gets it.
maybe maybe he should just be like a casting director.
For real. Like let's see. Death Stranding 2 guest roles. I'm curious if there's any other ones that I'm missing besides like the main crew.
Reedus
Yeah,
is almost
Sam
right.
Porter Bridges, baby. Let's see. What is it called? On the beach?
Hunter Schafer.
Hunter Schafer. There you go.
Yeah.
George Miller is playing a character in it. See, he's the
How
best.
the fuck does he get like George Miller for one being aware of Kojima is just fucking awesome, and then Kojima somehow like how does he get
Dude, I have no fucking clue how he gets these people. Lisa again, Troy Baker, who's obviously like a
Mhm.
huge voice actor. That's not a crazy one. Elle Fanning, like you mentioned. Uh, Alistair Duncan. Why is that familiar? Who is who was? I
That's a
don't feel like
crazy name.
oh, a
That's
realist.
crazy that that name still existing in the year 2025
Yeah.
is nuts.
Oh, it's a voice actor. That makes sense. But yeah, it's crazy. He just has like a literal collection of real human beings and actors in Hollywood that he just keeps including his stuff. I just love that. And then
Yeah.
lastly, Matthew McConaughey is going to star as in a new adaptation of Mike Hammer from Nick Pizzolatto, who obviously did True Detective, which, for whatever it's worth, True Detective season one, which obviously stars McConaughey and was written and created by Pizzolatto, is like one of the greatest seasons of television ever made. You could argue the best, I would say, as far as like a single
Yeah.
season of TV. Um, so that's great. I think that's great. Pizzolatto obviously struggled, I think, after the first season, which is fair. Like when you go from spending all this time putting together an entire season of television, they're like, okay, now turn it around and make another one in a year. It's not easy. Like it's a
Hmm.
very difficult thing to reproduce. So I'm very happy for him for this pairing to team back up again because obviously they were able to do some crazy stuff. And Matthew McConaughey playing like a private eye, I think is interesting. Interesting duo or combination for him or role for him rather.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the character at all, but he does sound pretty fucking awesome. It sounds like just you're just kind of standard detective who does not like the law.
Hmm.
Is like actively antagonistic towards criminals. So that sounds awesome. And it is based on a comic book series, which like a pulpy comic book series from the 50s.
Yeah.
Um, which not familiar with it at all, but Matthew McConaughey needs to get back on the right track. Another guy who's had some serious peaks and valleys in his career, and I think the last 10 years have been what feels like nothing but valleys. But still, this feels like the right fit. Pump for it, like you said, Pizzolatto. I think he just got fucked by like getting locked into True Detective,
Yeah.
and that's probably his own doing too. But that was like his first breakthrough, and I think he really thought, with the right amount of time and team, and he could make it work. But obviously, did not pan out that way. He did write the Deadwood movie. That's
He also
good.
wrote The Guilty, which was good,
Yeah.
and he wrote Galveston, which was good.
Yeah. So everything on paper, this could be a comeback for both of them. I like this. Now we do need to get Woody Harrelson in there somehow. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. They have to do everything together now.
Yeah. He is a their weird possible being brothers connection is very funny. And also Woody Harrelson's dad in general is just like a crazy
Yeah.
story. Potentially being the JFK shooter, like
Yeah.
be
I
actually
kind of
working
believe
for
it.
like CIA or whatever. It's crazy. Okay, so that's the news for today. Now we can go through the two movies. First up, let's start with Bring Her Back. Brother and sister uncover a terrifying ritual at the secluded home of their new foster mother. Directed by the Philippou brothers, who did Talk to Me from last
Hmm.
year, which we really liked quite a bit, and which was crazy, I think, in a certain degree because they're YouTubers. Like
Yep.
you don't imagine, I think YouTubers being capable of something like that good. I would imagine, I would say, which is fair or not fair. When you're saying, hey, YouTubers are making a full feature length movie, nothing in my brain says that should work. Like, immediately, like, that probably won't be great because I'm going to see, like, Uber drivers suck me off. Like, those guys are
Hmm.
making a movie but we really like that. And this one starred Sally Hawkins, Sora Wong, Billy Barrett, Jonah Ren Phillips, a bunch of mostly just children actors and
Yes.
Sally
Hmm.
Hawkins. This movie I thought was absolute and definitive proof that the Philippou brothers weren't like lightning in a
Yep.
bottle, wasn't like flash in the pan, whatever you want to call it, because it's amazing. It's a really, really good movie. Solid, solid horror. I think the kid actors crushed it across the board, which is something that is not definitely I would say the opposite of a guarantee. You're almost guaranteed that they're going to be like the worst part of a movie, generally speaking. And the kid
Hmm.
actors in this are incredible. The story, the gore, the practical stuff all hits like bang, bang, bang. And the story, what's weird about the story to me is like the oh, I'm on the wrong Zoom. I just realized. The story to me is like it's weird and that feels kind of cliche, but it also feels fresh. And I think that maybe is because they're Aussies, but I'm not. totally sure. And I also just really enjoyed the ending of it. Everything about this movie I think was really good, fresh feeling, and really liked it as a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, like you said, I had some reservations about like YouTubers breaking into the movie space. It's just new, like it's just a new phenomenon. But I think there's going to be a lot more of it moving forward. Because when you really think about it, it's like, well, if Spielberg was around, or if YouTube was around in the 60s, 70s, like all those guys would have been putting up their home films onto YouTube. Like that's what artists do. Like they were making home films, they just didn't put them anywhere. There was nowhere to put them. So it's not that crazy. I think people, especially after Bring Her Back just came out, were being really dismissive of them, which is a bit strange. It's like if you watch the movie, you can clearly tell these guys are talented, even if, and that's where I'm at. I think this is a really well-made movie, a very solid horror movie, just not for me. It's Talk to Me had like a 90s like teen slasher feel to it that I really loved because that's the type of horror movie I like. This is like very early 2000s, fucked up, like shit is going on, kind of disgusting, gross, upsetting, but thematically very strong. I think narratively they're making a story, not just, or they're telling a story. They're not just grossing you out. So a very solid horror movie. Not for me. I just don't love when kids are being hurt, to be honest,
Mm.
on screen. But great movie, I think. Um, Shot really well, really well. The use of like rain, the ambiance to it, the mood, really good. And like you said, the kid performance is very, very nice. The kid who played Ollie, which is like
Dude.
he was great.
And that had to be
Uh,
such a demanding role from even an
yeah,
adult it would have been as far as like what you have to do physically. And
mhm.
he crushed it.
Yeah, Jonah Ren Phillips.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's kind of it's almost a dual role, almost a triple role because he's like he's this kid, but he's also being possessed, and the possession is
Kid,
sometimes on the
demon possessed.
fritz.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, very good movie. I also appreciate Sally Hawkins, who's just always knockout and everything, and the fact that Sally Hawkins was not in Paddington 3
Yeah.
because she did this instead, which is great. Like she's not even an Australian. It wasn't even like I want to support the home team. Like she just was like, I fuck with these people. I fuck with these guys. Yeah, no, the Australian film scene. How about it?
Yeah, that's it's and I was trying to think about this too. Like
And it feels Australian is what I should say. Like like they feel like they are not shying away. Like we have a lot of Australian actors and actresses, and we've had Australian filmmakers, but never really anybody's been willing to use their Australian accent for extended periods of time and set movies in Australia and make them feel like they are Australian made. Um,
Yeah, well, that's what's very weird too, is like they shoot a lot of movies in Australia, but they're rarely movies that the movies
mhm,
themselves aren't set in Australia, which is very strange. Like you get
mhm,
stuff like Mad Max, but even then that doesn't really count because it's like
yeah.
it's a dystopian future or whatever. But this, I think, I would agree with you. It felt fresh and new, and I think partial part of that is because it was Australian and like because the
Mhm,
storyline, when you really think about it, on the base level, it's kind of cliche, right? It's like you demon possession trying to
mhm,
revive a lost person. Like that's we've seen stories like that before, no question. And I think
mhm,
maybe part of the reason it feels a little fresh is that this isn't like in the Northeast, because that's typically where we would see in the Northeast United States. Like it's not
yeah.
in Connecticut, which is what this movie. If this movie was set in Connecticut, it's a flop. You know what I
Yep.
mean? To me, anyway. I don't know how to explain it, but like with all American actors, but like for some reason, it just feels more fresh, and I think
Mhm.
that's the location and all that is part of it for sure. And very, very appreciative of it. Some of the scenes that I think really stood out to me are the kid ripping off his skin and eating it at the table.
Oh, gross. Great prosthetic design, whoever did that. Like the way the skin stretched and like it really did look like a piece of like chicken meat almost. Like it's oh
Dude,
yeah, that's gonna stick with me.
it was brutal, and making a kid do it is like, and the kid being able to do it, all this shit with like the
Hmm.
fucking contacts and like all this stuff. Like again, major shout out to again Jonah Ren Phillips, insane, physically demanding performance from a child actor. Looked great, and also it's like used judiciously. Like it's not
Hmm.
like we talk about how much we hate shit like the Terrifier, where it's just gore for
Yes.
the sake of gore. This isn't that. Like it's used
Yeah.
appropriately, like in like a very condensed moment, which is nice. Um, I think. the one of my favorite tropes in this was like the figure of authority not believing the protagonist. That's like one of my favorite horror tropes is
Mhm.
like them bringing the situation to someone in charge and them just being like, "No, you're lying." Like I love that shit.
I used to work with her. She's normal. She
She's
lost her
cool.
kids. She had a breakdown and lost her kids a few years ago and quit her job. But trust me, she's fine.
She's fine. Don't worry about it. She's fine. Uh,
How about the kid pulling a Stephen Shay too?
yeah, eating the table.
That's why I texted you on Thursday night and was like, "Have you seen it?" Yeah, because I
Oh,
wanted to be
okay,
like,
gotcha.
I'd be like the kid. It was Stephen Shang it,
Yeah,
like
immediately
eating
immediately
it
left the second he started chewing on wood. I was like,
on the
yeah,
sill.
that's Jay. That's Jay, all right. Uh,
Um,
yeah, I love that. I think the mythology of it was cool too. Like, you can't go past the white line. I watched all this on a
mhm.
Russian videotape. Like, that's all. It's cool. It was like interesting enough to keep you like
Yeah,
locked in without feeling like you've seen it too many times.
yeah, and that's the kind of thing where they're probably what 30 years old, probably grew up on the same kind of internet we grew up on, where like
Yeah,
you see a fucked up like real or fake snuff film, it fucks you up, and like yeah, it's graphic and horrifying.
yeah. BME Pain Olympics movie coming soon from the same brothers probably.
I wonder what
Uh,
they do. They have what they're gonna do next planned out yet?
don't.
Because this was pretty fast. Like this is a very fast turnaround.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's see. Controversy. Nothing yet, at least not on their wiki. Maybe on their IMDb. Oh yeah, they're only like a year older than me. And 33, I guess. But yeah, so that is Bring Her Back. Really enjoyed it. I would say as far as like horror movies you're gonna see this year, this is up at the top. Like
Hmm.
just very again in horror we talk about it all the time, at least I talk about it a lot. Horror movies, it's like typically 99% trash built to make money off teenagers, where it's like we can just
Hmm.
pump out anything, they're gonna go watch it. This isn't that. Like there's thought, care put into it. It's good. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I
Uh
would say I think their strength so far has been bridging that gap between I think the elevated horror that took off in the 2010s and then like the gross out, really fucked up demonic horror that we really grew
Makes
up on.
money.
Yeah, that makes money and has mass appeal. Like these aren't just beautiful shots. I mean, it's, this is good. I like it. Give
Hmm.
me more. Give me more YouTubers. Chris Stuckman. When's your
Chris
fucking movie
Stuckman,
coming
yeah, they
out?
just doubled his budget. Neon did, right?
Well, did they
They
really?
doubled the budget for was it something Oaks or Shelby
Yeah,
Oaks?
yeah. Shelby Oaks, yeah.
Yeah, they just doubled his budget for that thing for his horror project. Uh
Jeremy, the new Jeremy Johns film. Let's get
October
it.
3rd. That's coming out. I can't wait for Weapons, by the way. Every time I see a new teaser for Weapons, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
this is gonna be good. Let's talk about freaky kids. That's gonna be a freaky kids
Hmm.
movie. All right, but that is Bring Her Back. Now we can talk about Materialists. Before that, I need to now swap over our
Yep.
Zoom really quick. Okay, now we can talk about Materialists, a movie that's been getting, I would say, a pretty decent amount of hype over the
Hmm.
last few months or so. And like, it's A24, Celine Song, like coming off the heels of Past Lives, which was incredible. So I guess like rightfully so, and also just getting. Actually, I was about to say getting Pedro Pascal, but I kind of feel like is there anyone that's not getting Pedro Pascal at this point?
He's opening his legs for anyone.
Anybody that wants to cast him, he might be in anything.
Although I will say, I much prefer. I mean, I love what he's. I for the most part have loved like all of his stuff that he's been doing. And I like seeing him on screen, but I much prefer him doing like this kind of stuff, like than adding another IP to his filmography.
Gladiator
Um,
3.
yeah, like I don't need him to play another comic book or superhero or uh, you know, pre-existing character.
Yeah. So Materialists, the young, ambitious New York City matchmaker finds herself torn between the perfect match and her imperfect ex. Again, Celine Song directed. Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, the big three in this, the big love triangle. Um,
Mhm.
okay, so the thing with the tier list, I think I could kind of break down what I like and don't like in that the thing that I like is like the look is immaculate. I think that like it captures New York City in a way that I don't feel we've seen in a while, as far as like just the actual like what it actually looks like in New York City. Like you don't. I also just feel like there's not a lot of movies like set in New York City, like proper any like
Hmm.
Manhattan really
Yeah.
in general. So maybe that's part of it, but I just feel like that it looked great visually across the board, both in the apartments, on the street level, the trips, whatever. Like everything looked great. I also enjoyed seeing that Chris Evans has some juice in the tank. Like he's got something, right? Like he's got it.
Yeah,
Like
not dead yet.
yeah, the ultimate like yeah, not dead yet sort of moment for him because he's just been stuck in slop for the last 10-ish years and if for whatever you could blame him or maybe just like the idea of him wanting to make more money, but like he hasn't really made a lot of maybe efforts to go in that direction
Hmm.
as far as movies go, like trying to do like a legitimately hard
Yes.
acting performance. So kudos to him, and I think he did good. I really enjoyed him. What I don't like about this movie is I just don't like Dakota Johnson. I just I don't think she has an endearing bone in her body, which hurts my enjoyment of this movie a lot. Like she is inescapably and like authentically herself, which
Hmm.
I appreciate a lot from like a I guess a celebrity standpoint. And
Hmm.
when properly applied, it makes for a good movie role. But it's also kind of a curse when you can't really act as someone that's not close enough to you. And I think that hurt my enjoyment of this movie quite a bit because I just don't like her as the protagonist. I think Pedro's
Is she,
fine.
is she
Sorry,
the cilantro of actresses, where it's like, except reverse?
Soper.
I guess reverse because I think a majority of people feel the way you do, or just like no.
No,
Um,
but it's like properly applied. Here's the thing: like once it's in the right thing where she's
mhm,
playing a character close enough to her, it's good. There's no issue. But like when she's forced to play someone, like in this case, like an endearing, charismatic person,
mhm,
like I, it really hurts my enjoyment of it with her. And I think like kind of weirdly similar to Bring Her Back, like this deals with a pretty cliche storyline, I would say,
yeah,
like super cliche. And I think the reason this one feels more fresh is that there hasn't been like theatrically released rom-coms to come out really like in a while. So maybe that makes it feel a little more fresh than it should because it's super cliche across the board. Like
yeah.
we've seen this story 8,000 times. But so I think it's a beautiful, technically made from all like technical standpoints. Like looks good, writing's good. I think Pedro's fine. I think Chris Evans. I think it was maybe I'm not sure if I was like, wow, he was really good, or I'm just like, oh, I didn't know he had that in him. I really liked.
Mhm.
Most of the side characters I thought were really strong. Like the actress that played Sophie, I think was
Yes, from Succession. Hmm.
yeah, she was really good. I thought yeah, the assistant from Succession. I thought she was awesome. Really big moment for her. So all the technical stuff is good. I wish that there was someone else in the Dakota Johnson role because I don't she's just not the right fit I think for this. And people I'm sure you can go look at like the critic reviews and all the shit with it. Like people love it. Like I'm in the minority I would say from the critical community on this, but I don't think she was the person for this.
Yeah. No, I'm with you in some spots, other spots not so much. I really like this movie, but I do think the cast is what really holds this movie back from hitting the next gear. Um, Dakota Johnson, like you said, I think the front half of the movie, which we'll talk about in a second, a much better fit until an emotional turn in the second half where I don't think she gets there or is able to get the audience on board with her, unless you are a massive Dakota Johnson sympathizer. Pedro Pascal also just kind of gave nothing. Like it's a very nothing performance. And Chris Evans, I do think was good, but again, and we talked about this the second the trailer dropped. Chris Evans is too hot to be poor. He just is too hot to be poor.
Correct.
Like, and so is Dakota Johnson, who says at one point she makes 80K a year. Like, just too hot to be poor. Like you don't look like that and make less than 100K a year. I'm sorry. Um, so they're just strange fits across the board. But in terms of writing, I wish that they had gone a different direction with the cast because I do think in terms of writing, it's not as good as Past Lives, which is like one of the best screenplays we've had in the past
Yeah.
decade. But there is a lot of great stuff. It's very modern Jane Austen, which she brought up her syllabus, her list of references, and a lot of Jane Austen was on that list. You feel that, but it's grafted into, a modern dating scene, which I don't think a lot of romance movies or rom-coms have been able to tackle in any meaningful way. Like we saw Drop earlier this year, which isn't tackling it directly, but it is, online dating, and it feels so unnatural. This felt very natural, even if it's not online dating. In this case, it's matchmaking. You still see the similarities where like, oh, this does feel like, downloading Hinge and you're putting in your height, where you lean politically, how old are you, what is your education level, you know, the idea that these people are broken down into numbers is, it's a feeling that I think we all feel, or anybody who ever has done online dating would have felt. So I do think she tackles that kind of brilliantly. And to your point, when you brought up New York City, we get a lot of New York City movies, but they don't. It's like the idea of New York City in a lot of movies. Like it's frantic, it's dirty, it's grimy, which at one point I do think New York was that. In 2025, Manhattan is just not that. Like it's a very shiny, veneered city with a lot of money and people who care about material things, and everybody's dressed up. And I think she captured that really well. It looks nice. I mean, it looks beautiful. I think the two scenes in the restaurant are some of the best cinematography we've had so far this year. One scene in particular I loved. So it looks fantastic. It ties up a little, and we'll talk about that. I don't really love the way it ties up at the end, but I'm willing to accept it. I want to see this again. I've really liked it. I don't love the performances, and I think if you don't like these performers, just stay away. Just it won't be for you. But if you're looking for a modern rom-com, or if you're like somebody who has gone through online dating and can deal with these actors, I do think this movie will speak to you. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I really love Celine Song's writing. Like she is a very good writer.
Hmm. I agree with that completely. It's strange because like her writing is really good, and I do think that these actors are stronger in other things. It's like
Yeah, they're not
you have
bad
like
actors. It's
no,
just weird fit.
yeah, it's like you had like a airplane pilot driving a NASCAR car. It's like
Mhm.
these guys are both high performance at what they do. Just this mix isn't necessarily right. But yeah, I think that all the technical aspects again are the big strong points. Like you mentioned, the
Nice
rest.
score too. The
Yeah,
Pemberton score. I liked it.
yeah, enjoyed that. Like everything on the technical end is very strong. It's just this trio isn't correct for this.
It's not,
And that's
which
what
is
it is what it is. I feel like there's probably she might have had other choices in mind, and like a studio came in and said like, "Hey, we threw this by Pedro Pascal's desk," and he said yes, so you have to say yes. You have no choice. Or like same thing with Chris Evans or maybe even Dakota, but still,
it's
it's
Celine Song. I do love her, but she has some tendencies, and you'll see them pop up in her writing where you're like, this is a very millennial, a very millennial woman.
yeah,
And I'm sure when she got the opportunity to have Pedro Pascal, Chris Evans, and Dakota Johnson, she was just like, hell yeah. Because those are three actors and actresses that really speak to the older millennials.
hmm
Yeah. Also, like this, again, it's not as pronounced as Past Lives, but there is like, it feels very personal, which I think is what made Past Lives so great. It's like reading Past Lives felt like reading someone's diary for how
yeah,
personal it was. And this has a bit of that too, which I think really helps it.
yeah. It makes it feel a lot more authentic than it would, which is crazy to say because it's about movies and multimillionaire matchmaking in New York City. It
Hmm.
just shouldn't feel even us like living in New York City shouldn't have ever felt applicable to us, but like it does feel a little more
Yeah,
authentic.
I
Um,
did. I did meet a matchmaker one time in New
like
York City. They do exist.
yeah, I have no doubt about that for sure.
It's a what a strange cottage industry.
Yeah, but yeah, so I would say on a whole, this movie's like there's definitely going to be I would say New York City influencer TikTokers are going to go ballistic about this movie and be like, "Oh my God, it's the greatest
Hmm.
thing you've ever seen in your entire life." I I struggle recommending this to most people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This to me isn't one where I could be like I would never recommend my parents go see this. I would never recommend like or any other. I wouldn't be like, "Hey, go you have a weekend off, go watch, make sure you go watch Materialists." I don't think I would ever say that. I would say it's very the target audience will love it a lot.
Hmm.
I can't imagine wide swaths of audiences loving this movie. I just can't.
Yeah. It's like people, it's like made for people who love like James L. Brooks movies, which
Yeah.
is like very tasteful. Like I mean, we came home, we saw Materialists, we came home, we watched broadcast news right when we got home. But that's very small. That's a very small niche audience of people who are like clamoring for more movies like broadcast news.
Yeah. And I don't think that the weird thing is like it's not like I would prefer this be rom-com slop that dropped on Netflix starring fucking Kate Hudson and Noah Centineo somehow or whatever. But
Hmm.
like this is just it's missing it's too niche of an audience it's appealing to, and it's also like the again the chemistry between the three just isn't there. It's just they were not the right fit for not even just between themselves. Like I think that was
Hmm.
whatever, but like their chemistry to the fit of this movie, I don't think was there either.
Yeah.
I actually think Dakota Johnson would have been good playing like the boss of whoever her character
Yeah.
was. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or
Yeah.
she would have played. She would have been great as one of the people she was setting up.
Yeah. She's great as like like she's so good at playing like disaffected and like unaffected.
Mhm. Being herself.
But the flip side of that is like she's not great at being like emotionally available and emotionally accessible. So when we'll talk about it now if we want to do spoilers.
Yeah.
So when the flip happens of I guess the
With
domestic
Sophie and
violence
the
storyline
guy.
gets
Yeah.
introduced first before the Pedro Pascal reveal, and that's kind of what spurs, this emotional change in her. Happens on a dime, first off. She goes from really unaffected to immediately, which a very heavy subject, obviously, but the turn happens so quickly and she spirals so fast and changes her mind on kind of everything in her life so quickly that you don't really have time to catch up and feel for her. So when you're like, so when she's like, on the street in her Captain America Winter Soldier outfit, which was very funny,
Came
you're
through with
like,
like the hat and the sunglasses and shit. Yeah.
you are kind of like, what the fuck is going on with this girl?
Yeah.
What is going on? I've seen people also really hate that storyline's in the movie, but I think it works, especially in context of like what they're trying to say about modern dating, which is like you go on dates with people you just do not know. You do not know these people.
Could be anybody.
They're people on a screen. They're people you just hear about through a spreadsheet or a spreads. Wow.
Spreadsheet. Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, the ghost of Trill Ballins is tripping me up on that one.
Yeah.
Um, People on a spreadsheet, you don't know. So I think that really worked. It's just the performance of Dakota Johnson, like you said, it's works very well in the first half for me, and then the second you have to really emotionally invest in her, I'm just like, really?
You know, it's kind of funny. Someone mentioned, fuck, I wish I saw who tweeted it. See if we can find it. But they tweeted how like there's very few actresses that have that level of like LA Nepo kid disaffection.
Mhm.
And the one other one that comes to mind is Gwyneth Paltrow.
Which is in
Very,
context of their dating history is very
considering they both
funny.
dated Chris Martin, is very
Like he's
funny.
got a type, like his type is so fucking specific.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find that.
Uh, I did see that tweet. I think that was one of my mutuals actually who tweeted that. That was like, yeah, no, she is like kind of an heir apparent to Gwyneth Paltrow, where it's like she delivers a, and I think Gwyneth Paltrow is like a 10 times better actress. But if you've only looked at the last 20 years of Gwyneth Paltrow, you might be like, no. But like Gwyneth Paltrow 90s was like the next
Definitely
big
different.
thing.
After that, I
Um,
feel like there was like this weird switch that flipped in after like 2000 where she was like, wow, I despise acting.
the
Like
goop got to her brain.
the goop got there.
She,
Yeah. Uh,
um, and then I do like the wedding scenes were like back to the cinematography. I think this was shot. I want to give him a shout out, by the way, before I forget. Because he did Past Lives too, which they played that randomly in theaters Wednesday night, didn't make a push for it at all. I just saw it on my AMC app and went and saw it. And good Lord, that's a just beautiful movie.
Kabir Kirchner.
Yeah, Shabir Kirchner. He shot Past Lives and now he shot Materialist, and I thought this looked fantastic. I
Yeah,
really, really did.
both of them did. It had like a
So
weird.
that
We were just talking about how like the digital versus film thing. Like this felt like, I mean, I
mhm.
don't know how to explain it. Like it felt more filmy than it did digital.
Was the lighting. It was beautifully lit, the
Yeah.
blocking. She listed a lot of costume dramas as inspiration for this movie, and that makes sense. A lot of Scorsese, you see Age of Innocence on there, which kind of comes through. Yeah, no, she's talented. She's
So yeah,
talented.
not for
Also,
everybody. I would say I would say the biggest shout I want to give though, Zoe Winters as
yeah,
Sophie
she was
was
great.
like out of nowhere. Like I thought of her as like the goofy assistant, and she just crushed it. She was really
Best
good.
performance in the movie by
Yeah,
far, by
by like
far.
a pretty decent margin.
Also shout out what's Celine Song's husband's name? Justin Hurwitz, I think. The guy
Y
who also wrote Challengers.
yeah,
So
Kurtzis?
yes, Justin Kritzkitz.
Yeah.
Chris. Well, so if you don't know, if you're listening and you don't know what's going on here between these, this just makes the movie so much more fun when you know the stuff. Celine Song writes Past Lives and directs it, and he writes Challengers, which come out in the same year, to Love Triangle,
Yeah.
two male, female love triangle films with a clear outsider breaking up a relationship or making things messy. And now she does this again. Um,
Hmm.
just it makes Justin Hurwitz the broke loser who can't break through on the stage. Oh, poor
Lucky
guy.
guy.
I don't know what's going on there, but
Did go to Brown. Damn.
uh, yeah, good stuff. Celine Song, one of our best young filmmakers. I'm excited for whatever she does next. Very excited.
Me too. I think she has a very strong, like again, I hate to keep using the word technical, but a very strong technical work throughout this, and
Hmm.
writing, like you mentioned, like her writing and her technical stuff is
Yeah.
both great. In past lives, when it was applied to actors with really good chemistry, those main three, it was great. Don't think it
Hmm.
applied as well here. I'm very excited to see whatever she has next. Okay, now we can do our draft we were talking about, which is a draft of the best rom-coms since 2000. I would
Hmm.
agree with you, like we mentioned earlier. I thought this would be a lot harder, but it really, we probably should have done 2010 to now, would have made
That
it a lot.
almost makes it too thin.
From 2010 to now, I think would be actually impossible is the problem. Like, I think we need to do 2000 and now. That way, at least we get good movies. You are up first and I'm up second, 5 picks each.
Oh, Lord. I almost didn't want first on this one.
I think there's like a clear 1-1, right?
I'm gonna take it. I think it's my 1-1. I don't know if you'll agree here. I'll go Palm Springs.
Wow, not the one I thought.
There are like
That was my number two, though, I will say.
there are like three at the top for me. But Palm Springs has since it came out, I mean, I really loved it when it came out, but going back every single rewatch, I'm like, oh no, this is actually brilliant. Like this is not just kind of like a very good streaming release because it did it come out during COVID? No,
I
it
think it
came out like
was,
right before COVID.
was it before? I thought it was during. I think you're right. You might be
Maybe,
right.
maybe it was during. No, you're right. It was during
Yeah.
2020. Wait, when did COVID start?
March 2020,
Okay, yeah. So this was it's COVID movie. Not shot during COVID, but released during COVID.
which like weirdly should have made it much more popular in my opinion, because it is an extremely good movie and it dropped in the middle of a time where no one was doing anything but watching streaming. So,
Mhm. But yeah, no, I love it. It kind of hits the what we were talking about before, where maybe not the right fit in Materialist and maybe not the right chemistry with both the role and their love interest. Here, no problems. Like Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti are perfect fits in those roles, along with J.K. Simmons too. And their chemistry is just off the charts. And I love the way they shoot that movie. It's like one of those movies where you don't see a lot of great or well shot movies where it's so fucking bright all the time. That
yeah.
movie is bright as hell the whole way through, but still manages to be very intimate and beautiful. And I also love the way they shoot Chris Milioti and her beautiful brown eyes.
Hmm.
Some great close-ups. So yeah, Palm Springs 1-1.
Good, funny, earnest, like it kind of like an interesting like storyline that unravels throughout the entire thing too.
Original too. Yes, very
Yeah.
original.
And yeah, just fit. I feel like throughout that entire movie, and it's a weird crew because like I feel like even if you were to say if you took Palm Springs out of the equation, you're like, hey, we're making a rom-com with Kristen Milioti and Andy Samberg, I'd kind of be like, uh,
Hmm.
I don't know about like Andy Samberg trying to be a little serious, but like I think Samberg nails all the serious stuff, which
Hmm.
isn't a lot, obviously, and is super funny, super
Yeah.
funny. Um, okay, so for mine, this was my 1-1, which I thought you would do, which is Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
Like, it's just what can you say about this goddamn movie we haven't said a million times? It's Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's like I think for our generation growing up, it was like one of the definitive ones that came out during our like adolescence into like turning into our like later teen or into later teen stuff age-ish. I
Hmm.
mean, it's amazing. Siegel's like I think the perfect like as far as like that exact role, I don't think you could cast many people that were better I don't think you could actually cast anyone that was better for like that sort of like
Hmm.
doofy, lovable guy that you're rooting for very hard. And was also
Hmm.
like really good at the role too, like playing like the sort of and I'm trying to think of how to describe it exactly. Like he's like a lovable doof that is also like just sad. He's really good at playing like sad
Yeah.
friend during breakup. You know what I mean? That's not exactly an easy role, weirdly enough. I think he does that really well. Mila Kunis also perfect, and he's obviously a little bit off the deep end now, but Russell Brand was, I think, a pretty fucking good fit.
Great. I mean, he's playing himself, but he's great. He's great in that movie. It's
Yeah,
very funny.
and Belle too. I think both of them are funny. All the side characters throughout
It's so good.
the movie. I mean, obviously Paul Rudd, but like everybody was good. All the side roles in this.
Jack, what's his name from 30 Rock?
McBrayer.
Yeah, Jack McBride. He can't fuck his wife. He doesn't know
Yeah,
how to fuck his wife.
he was like everybody, the receptionists, the fucking like everybody was Jonah Hill. Like everybody throughout the movie is
Mhm.
super super funny. Also, like, do you want to talk about ones that look great? In Hawaii, looks beautiful.
Mhm.
And it's easy to watch. I think it's you can rewatch this at any point. Plenty of fun, iconic moments. Like Dracula the musical is one I think people still love.
Yeah, I'm still
Even
waiting
though,
on it.
yeah, you sound like you're from London, man. It's so fucking funny. Like, I'm a big fan for getting Sarah Marshall. I thought he would have went 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there in the top three for me. Like, that's where I was like just splitting hairs. It's definitely, I would say, my most rewatched rom-com. Like,
Mm,
I still think it might be like in the top five of like if you had me list out the five movies I've watched the most times, this would be in that top five. Uh, it's just there's so many bits and running gags. Like there's a joke a minute, and they always feel fresh. Like you go back to it, you watch it time and time again, and the romantic element to it and the chemistry between the stars, like also just like puts you in a really good mood. I don't
yeah,
know. Like like you said, he plays sad so well where I think men, or at least most men, we deal with sadness in kind of that direction. Like we're sad, but we're also like getting drunk, like having fun, like we're doing everything in our power to act like we're not sad.
yeah.
And he plays that very well.
Um, for my second pick, this is a harder one because I feel like the gap between for me, like forgetting Sarah Marshall and everything else, is like there's a decent size there. I think
Hmm.
I'd go Big Sick as my next one,
Okay.
which Big Sick I like a lot. It's I think as far as like the drama the romance drama part of it, because this is actually probably more of like a dramedy than a rom-com, but here is a rom-com.
Hmm.
Like it all the romance stuff I think is really good. I think him and what's her name? Zoe Kumail and Zoe
Kazan.
yeah, Zoe Kazan, I think you're have really good chemistry throughout it. Super funny, obviously too. Like there's all these other characters involved, like Ray Romano and I
Holly
mean
Owner.
Holly Hunter, crush it. They're so good, so good. And I think like obviously the 9/11 joke everyone always talks about is super funny. Lots of like funnier, less like punchliney bits throughout, which I think are nice.
The drive-through bit kills me. Where
Yes,
he's like, no, he's like, I want no, or what does he want? He's like, I want the burger. He's like, I want 30 burgers
yeah,
with like the cheese on the side, or
yeah, dude,
what is the order? Oh my God.
it's so good. And also, I think we talked about it kind of with um, Celine Song and Materialists capturing New
Hmm.
York, like Chicago. I mean, does a great job, I think, getting most of
Hmm.
Chicago, at least as much of it as they can. Enjoyed it quite a bit. I think Kumail hasn't really hit
Yeah, well,
or attempted anything really close to that since, which is kind of sad because he has, I think, and he showed in that, like he's got something there. Maybe he just can't because he's too jacked now, like he's disallowed.
yeah. He didn't want to be the nerdy guy. He didn't want to be the nerdy, lovable Indian guy anymore,
Yeah,
which
which
is
like if that's
sad.
fair or not. I mean, it was great. It was working for him. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go with Big Sick. You're up with two picks.
No, Big Sick, great pick. Another one to bring it back to Celine Song, where it's like that movie was so personal to Kumail. I mean, it's for what they from what they've said, it's almost one for one of like the events of their relationship, which is crazy. I'm gonna go more classic, back to the 2000s. I would kill myself if this didn't go in the first two rounds. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah,
It's like I think if you polled 1,000 Americans, what is the best rom-com from the past 25 years? That's probably the one coming out on top. A movie that maybe not doesn't look as good as some of the ones we've been talking about. Maybe not as well written as some of the other ones we're talking about. But in terms of like moments and on-screen chemistry,
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson are just fucking fireworks. They are so good together, and that's why like they come back and do Fool's Gold, a dog shit movie that somehow still kind of works just based off how good their chemistry is.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no, I love it. It's such an easy one to go revisit and one that you see why everyone kind of loves that movie. Like everyone likes it to at least an extent.
You know what's weird is I would say out of all the rom-coms, I think this is the one that like women love the most.
Mhm.
Like weirdly enough, because we're gonna mention plenty. Like I'm sure Forgetting Sarah Marshall obviously up there too and Big Sick, but like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, I feel like is the quintessential. If you were to ask like a lot of women, they would answer this one.
Yeah, but it's also
Calling
very
you a
much,
woman, basically.
yeah, it's for guys too. I
No,
mean,
I'm
they're
just kidding.
going to, we have Latrell Sprewell in this movie. Come on. Like, this is for the fellas. Yeah, no, it's got a lot of fun. A whole lot of fun. Like I said, it's not like perfectly, it's not a perfect script. Wasn't gonna win any awards, but good Lord, I love watching them fall in love.
Hmm.
And so, oh, I got another one.
Yeah,
Forgot. I got two back to back. Um, ooh, this is where I think we have another gap. Um, hmm.
it definitely gets harder here.
I'm gonna go. I think this is another one where it's like a fan favorite. This would probably be if you poll 1,000 people, this ends up in the top three. I'm gonna go Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah,
Which I don't know how well it's aged over the years. It is so specifically 2008 is what I should say. Like it so specifically captures 2008,
even the
down to
cast.
like yeah, like everything about the cast, like the way they're dressed, what is considered, ideal bachelor, attire, like Ryan Gosling in a suit. If someone showed up in a suit to a bar in
It was like
2025,
Barney Stinson, you know what I mean? Like that was like
yeah,
his character basically.
they would get laughed out the door. But it's like you got to understand that's what it was then. Like that was the cool guy. And another situation where I don't know how great, Steve Carell's chemistry is with Julianne Moore, but the flip side of it is Ryan Gosling has amazing chemistry with Emma Stone. Uh, like that's we can run that back time and time again. We need to do that again soon. Um,
Agreed.
and he's got great chemistry with Steve Carell. I think it was like the turning point, one of the turning points for Ryan Gosling too. Even though it's a rom-com still, and guys at that point we're still kind of dogging Ryan Gosling as being the Notebook guy, but this was a big moment for him. And it's like, oh, he's really funny. Like he's really, really funny. He's great in it.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. I agree with you. That is a very time capsule movie. Like
Yeah.
super, super ingrained into that. Um, it gets so much harder here. Like there's a bunch on here. I'm trying to figure out like, cause like there's I think a difference between a lot where they're like comedy dramas, like or dramedies, whatever, like
Hmm.
different genres and like with throughout. Like I feel like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days are like quintessential. That's
Yes.
romantic comedy. You know what I mean? These other ones kind of dabble in other things. I kind of want one more like pure, at least like rom-com. I'm
You can
stuck with
really stretch this drama. Like if you can make a case for a lot of movies to fit into this mold, into
yeah.
this subgenre.
I think one I've always kind of liked, and it shouldn't go this high. It absolutely shouldn't go this high. We were just talking about him too, which is kind of funny. I'll go with
Oh, I know.
Hitch.
I knew I
I
knew
love
it.
Hitch. I don't know. I can't.
It's on my board, buddy. It's on
I
my
like
board.
Hitch a lot. I think Will Smith is really good casting. Kevin James is also like weird, like
Hmm.
not even weirdly. He's just good in that role. Like he was playing fucking Doug Heffernan basically.
Yeah.
All the supporting cast I thought was solid. It's funny. It's goofy. It's not perfect, but like
Mm-mm.
him turning around after eating the shellfish, and having the fucking
Mm.
inflated face. Shit's funny, man. Like it is, and above all, in a rom-com draft, this is definitively a rom-com. No question.
Yes.
No other genres attempted. This is a romantic comedy. So I like Hitch. It's I think nowhere close to the same level as any of the movies, except for maybe How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I think outside, but like these other ones you mentioned, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Big Sick, Palm Springs, Crazy Stupid Love, nowhere close to that level of good movie. But as far as
Hmm.
rom-com, that is a romantic comedy, and for that reason, I'll go with Hitch. I like it.
No, this is a great pick. Listen, if you hadn't taken it and was still there in the fifth round, it would have been on my team. Yeah, no, this goes back to like Will Smith, just like being just the most one of the most charismatic people ever. Like it's He's such a joy to watch, even when he's just making a fool of himself and being an ass. Like you love him, you're rooting for him. He's kind of a scumbag, like a little bit, and you still want to see him end up with Eva Mendes.
Weirdly enough, it's kind of Materialists before
It is.
Materialists.
I was kind of surprised she did not include that on the list of, you know, inspire like that. That was a very comprehensive list, and to leave that one off, I was like, really? Not Moneyball, but not Hitch.
Yeah, not
Um,
Hitch, the Matchmaker movie.
but a much different type of more, I think less dramatic type of matchmaking, less sinister. Or he was a date. Was he a matchmaker?
I
He
think
was a
he's a
dating
pickup artist or
coach.
something. Like he
Yeah,
was,
basically a pickup artist.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, great stuff. And
That's the
like
guy version of a matchmaker, I guess, is like a pickup artist in the
Eva
2000s.
Mendes at her most beautiful.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
yeah.
When they go out
Um,
to what is it? They go out to Ellis Island. Oh,
yeah,
she's on that.
uh, and ironically, married to, or coincidentally, married to Ryan Gosling, who's
Hmm.
mentioned in Crazy Stupid Love. All right, after Hitch, it's another thing where I'm like, do I want more traditional romantic comedy or do I want more good movie?
Hmm.
Because like, not to tip picks, like right here would be such a great spot for like Along Came Polly. Like,
Yep.
I fucking love Along Came Polly, and that is a romantic comedy. There is no doubt about it, right? Like, and I
Come
think,
on, Ruben. Ruben.
dude, fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman, like,
Oh, yeah.
god
The
damn,
Crocodile Kid.
yeah.
What's this?
And who's the Australian guy? He's trying to like insure in it. Shit,
Oh,
fuck, he's funny too.
fuck. He was in Cocktail. What's his name?
I forget his name. Damn. But there's some other ones, I think even some new ones that I do think should get some more play.
Hmm.
But they're not really like they're not really romantic comedies. It's hurting me here. Like there's one movie that's recent that we both loved a lot.
It's on my list too. I
But
think
is
I
it
know what you're talking about.
yeah, but like I in my brain I'm like I can't come to terms with calling it a romantic comedy. You know what I mean? Like it's funny, there's romance. I I can't come to terms with it. Um I think I'll go with another movie kind of recent that I really, really liked, which I think was definitely a romantic comedy. I'll go with The Fall Guy. I like The Fall Guy a lot. I think it
Oh,
didn't get,
okay.
I don't think The Fall Guy got the flowers it deserved because it is, I think, super funny.
Hmm.
Like, very, like, not, oh, maybe super funny is a bit of an exaggeration. It's very funny. I think the chemistry between Gosling and Blunt was definitely there. I think Gosling kind of is just like a universal blood donor as far as
Hmm.
chemistry goes, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Like, he is difficult to find someone he doesn't have chemistry with. Uh,
He's a goal. He is like the definitive golden retriever actor. Like, you know what I mean? Like every like a golden retriever will get along with anyone. That's Ryan
yeah.
Gosling.
I think the action stuff in it was cool too. Like him and Aaron
Mhm.
Taylor Johnson was awesome in it. He was
Yeah.
really good. I think it was Goofy Bill Duke or not Bill Duke. Winston Duke also very good in it.
Hmm.
What's
Jason
the
Momoa doing a or no, it wasn't Jason Momoa
Momo showed up
doing
at
the
the end. Yeah.
Momoa shows up at the end, but it was Aaron Taylor Johnson doing the Matthew McConaughey impression throughout the movie.
Yes. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. The music stuff was good. Most of the oh, what's her name from Ted Lasso? Not
Hannah Waddingham.
Eddie Waddingham, pretty funny in it.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed most, I would say, of the Fall Guy. I don't think it got the flowers it deserved. I enjoyed it. I think it deserves more flop. Like, is it anywhere close to something like legendary Framing Sarah Marshall? No. But as far as like recent ones go, I really liked it, and I think it deserves some flowers.
No, it was a good time. No, for sure a good time. Not I wouldn't have that on my list, but I see where you're coming from. And compared to I think the movie we were both talking about, this does veer into the action, territory where is it a rom-com? But I do think at its core it's 100% rom-com. It's about a guy trying to win back his ex-girlfriend. Like that is the plot in the movie. That is the plot A. Like he's trying to win back Emily Blunt. So for sure I think goes into the rom-com category.
Hmm.
All right. So you have okay, so my
Yeah, you're up
back
with
up.
your last two.
Ooh, last two. Damn. See, this is where I'm having the same issue now, where I'm like, is this rom-com? Is this not? I think I'm gonna go with two movies from the same year. The
Yeah.
first one is gonna be Crazy Rich Asians.
Fuck, I
Uh,
wanted that my last one.
I know you did. I know he
But that's
did.
another one I struggled with. Like it's definitely funny, no question.
But is it romance? Is it just romance?
It's 99% romance, 1% comedy, which is what I was struggling with, which is why I wanted to take it late. But as far as like good movies on this list, it's up near the top.
Okay. First line of the Wikipedia. That's usually how I decide. Crazy Rich Asians is a 2018 American romantic comedy drama.
I would call it closer to like just but like
A rom
it's definitely
it
funny.
is
Like
a rom dramedy, I guess, would be
yeah,
the
yeah.
but
It's just the mix is hard for me to compensate with. Like it's a billion times better movie than The Fall Guy, no, like, in my opinion anyway. But like it's
if you
tough to
got
it's tough to come to terms with it,
if you got Jimmy O Yang in your movie, you're and Ronnie Chiang doing
dude.
his
Fucking
obnoxious rich Asian guy
what's his
thing that
name
he
from
does.
the scene where they go to Aquafina's dad's house, played by what's his name, Ken Jeong.
Yes.
It's so funny, like, but
Yeah,
like
no.
it's just so scattered. And then you get like the wedding scene, which is like incredible. Like,
What? Ugh.
oh, Keena Grandis on the pipes, so good. Like, but it was very difficult for me to compensate, like, come to terms with that.
It's kind of crazy what's happened to the career of like everyone involved in this movie.
Yeah,
Because you think back like when this movie came out and it makes I think it made $1 billion, right? Like it was huge.
made a pretty good amount of money. Yeah,
Made not a billion. I'm insane. $240 million on a $30 million budget though,
yeah.
which I knew it was crazy buku numbers. When it comes out, you Constance Wu is going to be a big star. Henry Golding's going to be a big star. Jimmy Chan's going to be a big star. John M. Chu is going to be the hot new name, which I guess to an extent did end up happening. Although I think he lost like all of his sauce. This was a gorgeous movie, very fun to look at, and I don't think Wicked has an ounce of the sauce this movie
No,
has. The John M. Chu kind of falls off. Constance Wu gets called. I mean, I think she kind of got slandered in the news, but people said she was hard to work with. I don't really buy that.
I think
And
the
Henry
big thing was like
Golding,
she like wanted to quit fresh off the boat. Like when like the show got renewed, she was like, "Oh, this sucks" or something like that. Because like she wanted to go and move on to other things, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?" Like, which you don't say that.
reasonable. I think reasonable though. Maybe don't say it out loud, but
You don't say it out
very
loud, but reasonable thought.
yes. And Henry Golding just still has not broken through in the way I thought he would,
Yeah,
like
I'd agree with
in
that.
any meaningful way. But yeah, no, I really like Crazy Rich Asians. Really, really, really like it. Are they still doing the sequel?
I think they planned on it a while ago. I think that the writer of the original dropped out. Is it Andrea Lim or something?
Adele Lim.
Adele Lim? Yeah, I think she dropped out, if I remember
Wow.
correctly. And there was
That's
some issue with
crazy.
that.
That's crazy. They haven't been able to get that off the ground. Wow. And then the other one I'm going to take, a Glenn Powell
Yeah, this
banger.
is the one I couldn't rationalize it.
It's not the one you're thinking, though. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
the
Anyone
one you're
but you.
thinking. No. Also 2018. Set it up. With
Oh,
Zoe
wow, yeah.
Deutsch. I love that movie. It's probably my favorite like direct to Netflix movie. I think it was direct to Netflix. Yeah, straight to Netflix. Love that movie. Their chemistry is just so good. One of the other few movies that I think really captured New York City
Yeah.
really well, like modern Manhattan. Um, just fun. They need to get back together and do something again. Glenn Powell also has kind of that Ryan Gosling element to him where he really just anytime he's on screen, he's got just great chemistry with anybody he's on screen with. He makes it work no matter what. And so yeah, no, I love that movie. There's some others on my list. We'll talk about them in a second. That are better movies, definitely better movies, but Set It Up has my heart. I can't let it go.
It's definitely like a put Glenn Powell on the map type movie too, for sure.
Hmm.
Like I think he was on people's kind of radar a little bit, but like this was like you watch it and he's so charismatic in it that it was like, oh, he could be something. Like, and
Yeah.
he is obviously so fucking next big megastar. Speaking of, we got that teaser for Chad Powers, which also looks kind of cool from our boy Michael
Oh yeah.
Waldron. Um, okay, last pick. I I'm still struggling with the like, what do I qualify as a rom-com thing? It's very difficult rationalizing a lot of
It's the
these,
last
but
pick, so you can just throw it out and we'll decide.
yeah, like Silver Linings Playbook is one. Like,
That's on my list too. And I had
definitely
that same
funny,
problem.
definitely funny, definitely a romance, the balance there's like there's like a three ingredient thing with also drama though. And I think
Hmm.
drama is by far the majority ingredient here.
That's where I came down, and I like the relationship is kind of the center of the movie between
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, but the movie is so much more about like them finding their way after, traumatic events in their life, and
Yeah.
working past that, than it is like a meet cute leading to a happy long relationship.
Yeah. Like Hitman, which I was alluding to earlier, that was
Mhm,
a very difficult one. Like I can't it's very hard for me to rationalize as a rom-com because it is definitely funny
mhm.
in spurts. Definitely sensual, we'll say, as far
Oh
as
yeah.
romance goes. It's more of like a crime story than
Mhm.
anything else. You know what I mean? Like a crime romance than it
Yes.
is a comedy split. So I can't rationalize it as a rom-com particularly.
Mhm.
Along Came Polly, I mentioned before. Like I love Along Came Polly. I fucking love it, and that is for sure a rom-com.
The
Long
fucking
Shot,
blind,
I like
the
Long Shot
blind
a lot.
ferret.
Oh
Just
yeah.
remember it. The blind ferret that just runs into everything.
I also liked Long Shot a lot. I don't think that got a lot of
Yes.
praise when it came
That,
out.
yeah, that just got lost in the shuffle. I don't really even know what happened there. That
I
opening
think
scene is so funny
yeah.
where he's got to get the Nazi tattoo and it gets like halfway done.
I think part of the maybe the turn off for some people was like the political element of it maybe, and
Hmm.
like obviously Seth Rogen's like pretty outspoken about that stuff too, so like that maybe turned some people off to it, but it is a very good movie. Knocked Up. You want to talk about
Yeah,
like rom-coms? We grew up in that is 100% a romantic comedy. I think between this grouping, I'm gonna go with Along Came Polly. I think it just fits
I like that
perfectly
pick.
in the rom-com genre. It's just everything you want out of one. It's you get the sort of like down on his luck, can't find love guy in Ben Stiller who's like nervous, can't come out of his shell, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
You have hottest woman alive in Jennifer Aniston,
Yeah,
and then a bunch of and what I think is such a critical thing in so many great romantic comedies is good side characters, and this is
yeah,
like chock full of them, like throughout the entire movie. So I'll go with that. It's definitely not. And fucking Hank Azaria, like what
yeah.
the fuck?
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, dude,
Kevin Hart's like the cameraman that follows Philip Seymour Hoffman around.
it's crazy. But I'll go with Along Came Polly. I'm well overdue for a rewatch on that. I mean, I think it's a very solid rom com, and Ben Stiller, man. I feel like he's too stop doing Nick stuff. Go back to doing more rom-coms in succession. Yeah, time to
I
get
mean,
rid of the basketball.
he's coming back. He's gonna be doing one with Ariana Grande.
Ariana
Come on
Grande, Meet the
now.
Parents or Meet the Fockers 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Meet the Parents 4.
I guess she's a Fokker. I guess
No,
Aaron
no,
on her.
his son is a Focker and he's dating her.
Oh, that's what it is. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, so our finalists end up you have Palm Springs, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Crazy Stupid Love, Crazy Rich Asians. You have two crazies, I just realized. Uh,
Oh,
Crazy Stupid Love and Crazy Rich Asians.
love be like that.
Yeah, and set it up. I have Forgetting Sarah Marshall, The Big Sick, Hitch, The Fall Guy, and Along Came Polly. So here's how I'll rationalize why anyone should vote for me. Gooch's list of movies is a lot better. Like if you were stuck on a desert island and you only had 5 movies to pick from, you want Gooch's list. There's no question. But rom-coms, pure rom-coms, that sweet gooey goodness. I think I got a slight edge. That's my only thing I'll give myself a props on.
Okay. I like that.
I
I do feel that Crazy Rich Asians may be a bit of a stretch, and Palm Springs also maybe a slight stretch. But outside of that, I mean, How to Lose Your Guy in 10 Days. Crazy Stupid Love. Set it up. Those are pure saccharine rom-coms. Do you want to run through some of the other ones you had? Uh,
I think I mentioned most of the big ones I had written down.
some other ones I had, both Mamma Mia's, which is another situation where it's like,
It's
is it
tough.
wrong? It's definitely romantic and comedic.
It's musical though. Musical, like when again we're distilling like the
Mhm.
ingredient list here. It's like what percentage is what. It's like 50% musical. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yep. Other ones, Failure to Launch, another McConaughey one
Yeah.
that I think kind of got lost in his like a crazy cast. Rewatched it last year or earlier this year. It's just so deep. It's got like Bradley Cooper just doing a Matthew McConaughey like impression next to Matthew McConaughey. It's just very funny.
Was it Wedding Crashers too? He like Bradley Cooper's just there, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yes. Mr. Deeds. Love Mr. Deeds.
Wow, yeah, I would have never see that's a comedy romance. Like
Yeah,
it's a com-rom.
Com Rom.
But
Yes.
that is a really good one. That is a legitimately, I think, good romance story too.
hmm Yeah, no. Drew Barrymore's fantastic. Anytime you get
Wait, Mr.
or
Deeds or
not
Com?
Not Barrymore, Winona
No,
Ryder.
right.
And Sandler is just very good at doing for him. Obviously, he's done a lot of bad ones now, but you always feel for him every time in the relationship for the most part. You're
Uh,
like it doesn't make sense when he has these beautiful wives, but also you're like, yeah, kind of. Like he's so funny and likable that he would end up with her. I guess, yeah.
you get
Um,
the wedding singer back.
and then we talked about Silver Linings Playbook. Phantom Thread was the last one, which was like the best movie on the list, but you're doing a very hard stretch to get the calm in there.
Yeah, that is about as thin as it gets.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all. I mean, again, this is very just difficult rationalizing what's romantic comedy, what's not. I think you really need the two main ingredients need to be romantic and comedy, and
Mhm.
if it's anything else,
Yeah.
then it's just tough to rationalize. And I'm excited for more of them to come out. Like Materialists, I wouldn't consider a rom-com.
No, the marketing definitely pulled the rug out on people. It sells the marketing sells itself as a rom-com for sure. And I just don't think even close to being I don't think there's a world in which you can call that a rom-com.
Drama with like a few funny lines,
Yeah.
a couple funny lines throughout. But yeah, so that's rom-coms. Let's see, what do we got coming up? I think we got something coming out this weekend, right?
There is oh, this might be tough for me this week with the dozen,
We do have
but
the dozen this week. I think we're both. Are you flying today too?
yep.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Um,
Let's
what
see
are we
here. What's coming
in?
up?
June 16th, 28 years later. That's right. Dude, I was supposed to be going to early screening of that, but I can't because we're in Chicago.
Yep.
Which is not a bad thing. Gonna go again for the dozen. I'm more than happy for that. We have 28 years later coming out this weekend. Elio, the Pixar movie, which I feel like has gotten no marketing,
No. Yeah.
no push. Uh,
Pixar's dead in a ditch.
yeah. Let's see, everything's going to be great. Starring Bryan Cranston. I don't remember hearing about this. Bride Hard, which looks like Wolf. That's the one with
Ride hard.
Bride Hard with what's her name? Shoot. Rebel Wilson.
Rebel. Yeah, that's what it is.
Looks terrible. Eye for an Eye, Familiar Touch, Don't Tell Larry with Ed Begley Jr. What the fuck is Don't Tell Larry? What are you not telling Larry? And then we have F1 the week after that, which I can't wait for. I'm so excited for F1. I'm like
Yeah, me too.
irrationally. So I would say 28 years later is the big one for next week, obviously. Did you see the site thing that they put out?
No.
They put out this like it's like a website where like it's always like it's as if you're in an alternate world in a 28 years later world outside of England, and like you're looking for information about what's going on in England. And it's like,
hmm
here, look, we have like this thermal image of this. We have like
Oh.
this cool this like Mayday call from off the coast of like, and like because no one knows, it's like a media blackout of
hmm
England. So it's really cool. Is I'll see if I could find it. I think Discussing Film might have posted it, but I'll put it in the um YouTube description if you're looking for it. But it was really cool. So 28 weeks later, go watch that. We will see you guys next week.
So, yep.